Hello guys, welcome to Data Speak. Listen to your data. Our topic today is pivot table and pivot chart in Excel. Pivot table and pivot chart in Excel. So if today happens to be your first time in this channel, I would like you to subscribe and hit the like button. So without wasting much of your time, let's get busy.
So here's the data we're going to use to demonstrate how to create pivot chart in Excel. So it's a sales data. So I name it pivot table. So what we simply do is just for us to activate our pivot table. So we go to insert, click on pivot table, give it a new worksheet. Now, so there are a few questions I would like us to answer in order for us to create the chart. The one question says, which country has the highest total profit? Which country has the highest total profit? So that which means we're working with countries and profit. So let's go to our sheet. So I drag country to row and the profit. Bring the profit to the value. So what we simply do just what we simply do is just for us to format this. We change it to country. This one we give it total profit. So we format the cells, just right click, number formatting, currency, give it 0 decimal places, hit OK. Now it's been formatted. Now we're going to, the topic for this video, like I said, is how to do what? To create pivot chart in Excel. So to create pivot chart in Excel, what you do, once you've created a pivot table, which is what we've done, you just click on the cell. Once you click on the cell, you find at the top, there's this, at the top, you find these two tab at the top, which is under the pivot table tools. One is analyzer, one is the design. The design has to do with how you design the table. It has to do with the layers, the branding. It has to do with the layout of your pivot table. But we're not concerned about, we're concerned with analyzer on how to do what to create a pivot chart in pivot table. So this is the pivot chart. So once you click on it, it will bring you, suggest you which chart you want to use. Which chart do you want to use to analyze your data. So since we're looking country by total profit, I would like to go with the bar chart. So you just click on the bar chart. Now the bar chart, now you have different stack bar chart. We have 100 stack percent bar chart. You have 3D and the rest. So I will prefer to go with this one. So what you simply do is just for you to hit OK. That's all. And once you hit OK, the next thing you do for it to just to start what to format. For example, by the right hand side here, this plus sign, when you click this plus sign, you have many chart elements. It has the axis, it has the axis type. So for example, when I hit uncheck this, notice our axis is gone. So when I put it, our axis come back. When this one, axis title, if you want to give it a title. So our chart title, data level, if you want to give it data level. So data table. So it comes, let me just expand this so you see what I mean by the data table. So it creates a separate table below that shows you the data, the information. So it shows you the error bar, the grid line. You want to remove the grid line if you want to put it back. Then the legend. Then you have the trend line. So there are many things you can do with the chart element. And if you see, for example, if for the legend, once I highlight the legend, you find that there is this arrow pointing that will appear. So once I click on it, it now gives you different options. What do I want to put the legend? Do I want to put it at the top? Now the legend is at the top. Do I want to put it below, left? Do I want to? So each of them has that arrow. So for you to go deeper in it, you understand? So that's how we do what we create. So what you need to simply do now, since we have a chart, you just need to like start formatting your chart, which simply means I'll just give this one name country country by profit. Profit. You hit enter. And now, but this I so if you don't want to see this field, like for example, total of profit and country, you just need to right click. You see here, you see what hide value field on chart, hide all field value. So once I click on this one, you find that it's gone. Then the over here, if you don't want to, you make use of this level. So you just highlight it and you do what, you click delete. Then the grid line, if you don't want it, you can highlight it and click delete, or you come over here and uncheck it. Then now we can add our data label. Our data label. So the legend, so it depends on where you want to put the legend. For example, if I decide to put the legend at the top, this. So this is how you can, this is how you create a word. You create pivot chart in Excel. So it's very simple. The first thing you need to do first of all, create your pivot table. Once you create a pivot table, highlight any cell within the pivot table, go to the Analyze tab, highlight any cells, you go to the Analyze tab, you see the pivot chart, you click on the pivot chart, you find that it will give you the various charts, recommend you it will give you the various chart you want to use. So you decide on which one you want to choose. Another thing you need to know also is that there is something called a recommended pivot table. So for example, now, as I've highlighted, so once I click on this, it will recommend the pivot table, how I want it to look like. You understand? What I want else I want to create. What else? So if you see here now, this is not sum of profit by country. Now, if we check here now, it recommend, okay, do I need sum of units by country, or sum of profit by segment, or sum of product? Like for example, okay, let me say I want sum of profit by segment. So when I click on it, hit okay, you see it changes. So, and go back, go to the recommended. What we did before was what? Profit by country. Click on it, hit okay, you return back. So that's how to create a pivot chart in Excel. It's as simple. It's as simple as that. So what you need to do, based on the data, you highlight any cells, you go to insert the pivot table, it comes over here, then inside here, once the pivot table is being created, you go to the Analyze tab, which falls under the pivot table tools. When you hit Analyze, there over there under the tools, you see what the pivot chart. So once you click on the pivot chart, it tells you, it shows you the various chart. So that is not for you now to do what, to decide on which of the chart you want to use to represent your data. So guys, so that's what we have for you today on how to create pivot chart in Excel. So if today happens to be your first time in this channel, I would like you to subscribe. And I would also like you to watch the series, because there's a series of pivot table videos. You can learn more about pivot table. Thank you very much, and thanks for your time.